Hi guys, I just can't hear you.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Somebody on, yeah.
All right. Okay, my name is Craig Samuelson from the Shepherd Corporation. We have a couple of businesses in town. We've been here for 40 some years. We actually have the Shell Station, Notch Travel Center down the street, self-storage, some industrial rentals. That's all a hobby. We actually have to work for a living, and we have a construction business, and we do steel work and concrete work. And so anyway, we have a real passion for Southwick. We live right over the line in Westfield, but everything we do is in Southwick. And I've been on the commission here for a few years, quite a few years, probably too many years. But we saw it through some slow times here with COVID and all, and we're excited about the prospects now that we're coming out of that. And we're even seeing more money in our budget to be able to do things with, and we're encouraged by that, and are really looking forward to how we can work together to enhance the businesses that we have around here in the community.
My name is Serena Fuller. I'm the principal of College Highway Insurance. Been in business for 34 years. Grew up in Southwick, went to Southwick schools. Back some time ago, we had a merchants association, which I served on, as Craig did too, for like 12 years. And I've been on the commission for about maybe 7 or 8 years. I'm not sure, but looking forward to working with everybody.
I'm Amber Bach. I've lived in town over 20 years. Both my kids went to school here, graduated from Southwick High. I am currently a local realtor with Sears Real Estate, and I've been doing that for about 7 years. I also substitute teach in the school system. I just realized this was my 10th year doing that, starting. So then, let's see. I've been on economic development for probably about 7 or 8 years as well. I've tried to help spearhead some of our job fairs when times were tough for our businesses, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody as well.
I'm Pam Sclafani. I've lived in Southwick for about 7 years now. I am the director of marketing for 4 Coldwell Banker offices in Hampshire and Franklin counties, although I work from home here in Southwick. Just looking forward to immersing myself into this mission and anything said.
Good evening. I'm Inga Hotelling. I married a Southwickian about 40 years ago, and this is where I call home. I am passionate of seeing the direction of where Southwick is going. I'm thrilled that we've got a Master Plan 2040 advisory committee, and that we're listening to what the people are wanting to see the town become or enhance what we already are. Professionally, I've got a broad experience with recruiting. I was with Mobil Oil for over 15 years. On the corporate side, handled the Northeast region for them. I'm proud to say that I was a co-sponsor of the Big E in 1999 and promoted our speed pass and our race car drivers, and had an awesome turnout with our event there. I transitioned over to executive recruiting for the past 20 years. I was with one of the largest search firms here in New England. So I've been all about for-profit, and 5 months ago, I transitioned into nonprofit. And I'm with the Employers Association of New England as the Director of Development for Recruiting, and looking forward to expanding my career with them. I'm thrilled that I was appointed into this commission and look forward to the future.
I'm John Cody, otherwise known as Jack. Been a member of this commission for 1 year. Been in Southwick for 30 years. And active in many different aspects of the town, between soccer committee, on the finance committee at Our Lady of the Church, and looking forward to working with everybody to try to promote the business in Southwick and keep us economically viable and competitive.
Frank Grillo. I've been in town 5 years now. I've got a few businesses in town, marina, so on and so forth. I have other businesses in many other towns. I've been in an automotive business now for 42 years, and I'm still in automotive business. Why, I don't know. But I just see what's going on in town. I love Southwick. I live right on North Pond. But there's a lot that needs to be done with these businesses in town. It's just, we need more business. We need business that makes sense. That's about it. Yeah.
Good evening, Mark Folco. I've been in town for about 2.5 years, so probably the newest resident on the commission. My wife and I love the town. We fell in love with it many years ago, and we're pleased that we had the opportunity to purchase some property here and move into town, formerly from Rocky Hill, Connecticut, but have strong ties to Western Massachusetts. I currently work as Vice President of Healthcare for Suffolk Construction Company based in Boston, but I help with national healthcare initiatives as well as those in New England. And most of my background has been in healthcare operations. Before I joined Suffolk, I was president of Mercy Medical Center in Springfield. Prior to that, I spent 2 years at Trinity Health corporate office, helping with integration of Catholic Health East and Trinity Health as they came together as one organization. And then prior to that, I had spent over 11 years at Mercy and the Sisters of Providence Health System, doing really development work, changing our business model as we moved to a different type of payment system that we were preparing for. So a lot of experience in healthcare management and leadership. But interestingly enough, early in my career, right out of graduate school, I worked for a company that did economic development and tax consulting for companies. And so it was on the company side of things, really working with towns and states and regions and county government as we represented clients who were looking for new property, identifying new property, developing businesses, and negotiating some of the incentives that the government entities were willing to provide. After I did that and went back into healthcare, while I was living in Rocky Hill, I served on the Rocky Hill Economic Development Commission. So I've sat on both sides of the table, like this side much better, because I like to be able to give back to my town. So hopefully we'll be able to help out and willing to roll up my sleeves and help in any way I can. So thank you for having me. Look forward to working with all of you.
Hey, I'm Greg Diley. I've been in Southwick for 25 years and plan to be here the rest of my life. Both of my daughters graduated from Southwick High School. That's been 12 and 15 years ago. So they're out in Boston now, in that area. I've worked in direct response marketing for 44 years now. And well, actually, it's been 47 years. I worked 13 years for one company and 34 years for the company I'm now in the process of retiring from. And that's where I wanted to get involved in the town and use some of the extra time I have to stay active and provide some of my experience. I've had bottom line responsibility for tens of millions of sales for most of my career. So I know what it's like to be on the line day after day, week after week, year after year to sustain a business and constantly change. So I know what it's like to, be responsible for bottom line. I know how to do economic analysis and to bring some of that here.
Good. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for all getting sworn in to make life easier for all of us here.
Commissioners, if I might, I know you do public comment at the end, and I know you have a lot of work to do tonight. I wonder if I might just make do one comment at the beginning and we have a special day.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Well, I need to welcome the public first. I don't want to get out of sorts here, okay? You're welcome, and we will open to public comment later on, if you don't mind. We just have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of here, and with potential change of leadership, I don't want to totally direct how things need to go. So anyway, we'll be back at you guys shortly, okay? Thank you for coming.
Very much appreciate you taking me out of order. Bert Hanson, 153 North Vining Road, also chair of the Agriculture Commission. You may have heard we had our first open farm day recently, and myself and two of the other commissioners are here. Tammy and Sage is on Zoom, and we just have something we want to present to Inga. Open Farm Day would not have happened without Inga's support and hard work and dedication. So we say thank you, Inga, on behalf of the Southwick Agricultural Commission, and in the spirit of collaboration between the town's commissions and its citizens, we offer grateful thanks. Your dedication, good work, and positive energy made our first Open Farm Day a huge success. The visitors, the volunteers, and most importantly, the farmers were thrilled with the event. We couldn't have done it without you. So thank you, Inga.
Totally unexpected. Thank you. It was a hoot putting this on with the AdCom. It was a lot of fun. And I remember when Bert came to the EDC meeting, and I'm newly appointed here, so I was a citizen that was involved with both commissions. But it was just so good to be able to pull the community together and get these 9 farms and the historical museum to rally together. And we got sponsors. We got 32 volunteers. 10 of them were the National Honor Society students. I mean, it was just a great event. And I was proud to work alongside of you, Bert, and Tammy and Sage and everyone else on the AdCom. It was just best way I can describe it. It was a hoot of the day. So thank you, Bert.
You're quite welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, we're already talking about next year.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah,
Very good.
big plans to be able to incorporate and integrate both of the commissions. Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bert.
Thank you.
Okay. I think probably the first order of business we need to move into is the election of officers, so we can start getting down to some brass tacks around here. And we have 3 that we need. Oh, a little housekeeping here. I don't know if we need to be taking minutes or not with this on Zoom in the absence of Cindy. But I don't know if there's anybody willing to do that. Some approved minutes, or if it's even necessary. What are your thoughts on that, Diane?
We could probably just take some brief notes to give to Cindy, and then she can follow the recording to actually create the minutes, combining them to points.
I think that's fine. Is Cindy still working? I thought she left.
Is she? Oh,
I thought she left at the end of August.
She tried to, but she's still a floater.
Oh, all right, okay, all right.
All right,
okay.
Sorry today.
all right, let's, yeah. that
So I
sounds
think if
good.
somebody just keeps brief notes, I mean, you can take your agenda.
Sure.
really.
Yeah, I think the agenda,
Okay.
do you want to, because we have the agenda and everything. Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Serena, can you
Yeah.
maybe jot down some?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You don't really just know any action.
Okay, let's move into election of officers here. And let's start off with the office of chair. And I'm going to open the floor now to
Can we do a brief,
nomination for
can we
chair.
do a brief description of chair, like, just based on Michael was a chair for so long.
Well, I think as part of moving ahead, not to get out of
Sure.
sequence here, but I think we need to start defining some of these positions and the expectations and so forth. We don't have that now. We really have only had the chair position that Michael
Correct.
assumed, and Michael was at I think, every town meeting and, on that note, let me just digress for a second. I hope that at some point here in the not too distant future, we can, maybe get a letter off to Michael, a letter of appreciation for his faithful servant. He's a hard worker. He's got a passion for the town, and he really made our life easy around here with all the town meetings he attended and all. So, if I don't want to lose track of that, so if we can flag that and follow through on that, that would be wonderful. But yeah, so we really haven't. I don't think we have descriptions. I mean, I think that lies somewhere with our mission statement and all these things that we need to, really round out. Whether or not one says, yes, the chair needs to attend all these meetings or whatever, I think there's gonna have to be some delegation and all. I think we have to, sort out and, eat this elephant with some small bites, because there's a lot to do. There's an awful lot to do. I think a lot of us recognize that. So how we parse it out, I think remains to be seen, but, I know that's not a very good answer, but, we need to work on it. We're in process, right? I mean, and we've made a lot of progress here over the last several years, but I think that's one of the things we need to round out. So anyway, at this time, I guess I'll open the floor to a nomination for chair.
I'm gonna nominate Inga.
I'll second.
Second.
Okay, Inga's been nominated for chair. I guess we need to determine whether or not, Inga, you would accept that and be pleased to serve in that capacity.
I would definitely accept it, but I want to mirror what Amber said, that one of the first courses that I believe we need to do is to, define and understand what the chair's role is. I do work full-time and I have responsibilities, but I've made this a commitment of mine for almost 2 years, coming to all these meetings and doing some extracurricular activity on my own regarding the EBC. So I would welcome that nomination.
Okay, and you have, and you're to be commended for that. So thank you. It's helped us a lot, rounding the corner here. So anyway, are there any other further nominations for the office? Okay, hearing none, the nominations are closed. And all those in favor of Inga for the office of chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? No? Okay, the ayes have it, and Inga is elected to the office of chair. Welcome, Inga.
Thank you.
We can do one or two things. You can continue with the last two, or I can follow through and
I
finish
said
them off.
you can continue on the roll.
All right, so let's move into vice chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair at this point?
I'm gonna nominate Greg Dealy.
I would
I'll second
second
that.
that nomination. In tandem with Serena.
Greg, are you willing to accept and willing to serve?
With Inga as chair, I would willingly serve as vice chair.
Are there any other further nominations for vice chair? Okay, hearing none, the nominations are closed, and all those in favor of Greg, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? All right, the ayes have it, and welcome, vice chair. Again, we haven't had vice chair, much less clerk. Mike has pretty much satisfied all those requirements over the past several years, so we do need to fill this position, and it's my understanding this is not a secretarial position, because we are to have somebody in here taking minutes and doing a lot of that administrative stuff. But I would assume that it is an administrative role. It's making sure we have things in order, maybe keeping track of the budget and, where we stand with that. So at this point, I guess I look for a nomination for clerk.
Pam, I'm gonna nominate Pam.
Okay,
I was,
are you
Jan?
nominating?
I was gonna say Jack, but
Okay, then either or, I'm fine. I nominate Dan, you can nominate Jack, right? Duke it out.
So, either way.
Well, I'm very new to this committee. Have you been on the committee for a while?
A year, I would say I'm still in Boston.
So I would say he'd probably be a better choice right now, just so that I can kind of get my feet wet.
That's understood.
But I really do appreciate that. And I would do it if.
Jack, will you accept it at this point?
I
Are you
will
willing,
accept.
sir? You will, okay.
Thank you.
At this point, are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, the nomination for the office of clerk is closed, and all those in favor of Jack, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Okay, the ayes have it, and welcome, Jack, to the office of
Thank
clerk.
you.
And with you, we'll have to figure out what this means,
Yes.
okay?
Google it.
All right, well, at this point, I don't want to start directing the agenda and so forth, and I think I'll hand the baton off to Inga, and welcome Inga, and we'll let you carry on with the meeting.
Okay. So at this point, because we do have public here, and I'm thrilled to see people from the community here. I'd like to open it up to, if you have any public comments, I'd like to open up the board to the public.
Yes.
Diane Dale, 5 Grove Road. I just want to congratulate you, all of you, for thank you for stepping up and doing this, sticking with it. I am so excited about his team. I get team goals, and I think you guys are going to be dynamite together. And there was some concern about the size of the group, but I think this is fabulous because you've all taken over the meeting training, right? Or are going to. You can carve yourselves out into work groups of 3 and have your project teams. Craig, Greg, and Mark can all be on one project team, but Mark and Pam and Inga, you can overlap and be on another team as long as you abide by the open meeting laws. And you can have so many projects going at once. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to make a comment? Yes.
Well, I came to introduce myself. We sometimes have a narrative of ranch. I live across the street and have a business there and I've noticed it. I recently joined the Greater Westford Chamber of Commerce. I'm an artist, I'm an introvert. I speak better with a paintbrush in my mouth. And so it's not easy for me to almost say my work. I'm supposed to be above all that stuff. And they recommended that I come to you and see what you had to offer. They have a lot to offer, but some of it is limited to Westfield people, even though they create a Westfield Chamber of Commerce. So I just thought I'd come and see what greatest stuff I could get into. I'm really impressed that you did a huge board. As I heard, I was happy with the bird.
Can I comment on that?
They did a fabulous job with the farm, open farm day. And I was thinking maybe we have like a lot of little specialty shops. We could call it a gallery, a specialty shop. We do have a gallery. There's like 3 different places that sell interesting used furniture or a lot of different things. There are 9 or 10 different places. And I thought, oh, we could just have something like Farm Day. And then I thought about it some more. I thought, well, if 25 to 50 people ever go to the night door, they'd never get in. Never mind a place to park. So I'm looking for ideas.
And it's Carolyn and her husband, Bob Mills.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
52 Sunnyside Road.
Assignment for the having.
Can I speak up loud?
Okay.
So you have signed in, Carolyn?
No, I didn't.
Okay, yes, if we could capture your name, your address,
Okay.
that would be ideal.
Okay.
And
Can I do it when I'm leaving?
Yes, absolutely, Carolyn. And I've driven by your gallery numerous times. You're just tucked away right over in the corner there.
It is, it's, I don't have hours because I don't want to be chained to the place.
Mhm.
And my husband is a little confusing because my profession is aging, but I'm married to Robert Mills.
Oh, you're the lady who donated the beautiful farm scene that we gave away at Carolyn Avery. Okay, that's how I know you as Carolyn Avery. And the woman who won that
have one of
picture
her
was just
too.
absolutely thrilled.
Really?
Yeah, so. Okay, great. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
I'll just say, Jason Pearl, 102 Crossing. I'm going to mirror what Diane said.
He always does.
Thanks, Jason.
Try to say as little as possible. Well, once I get going, usually that's about.
That's it. Is there anyone on Zoom? I don't see any.
There's a chat. Congratulations, Inga. Thank you, Inga. There's no.
Okay, so then moving on with our agenda, we already got to know a little bit about our members, and what we've got next on our agenda is to discuss our mission as a newly formed commission. So I know that one of the processes that the EBC went through, it was about a year's long process.
Can I
coming
just
up.
speak before she leaves on something in regards to what she was talking about?
Oh,
Yeah,
Carolyn?
yeah, Carolyn, if you're leaving, I'd like to say something in regards to what you were discussing.
Okay.
So we pay into the Westfield Chamber of Commerce, so we are part of the Westfield Chamber of Commerce. Our chair would attend all the meetings with the Westfield Chamber. They've gone through some changes, I think, with their presidents.
Yeah, they did.
So we used to actually do a home and business show, the one that you're speaking about at the ranch. So we've done them at the ranch. We've done them at Tucker's over the years. But we always correlated with them for all their home and business shows. And then we would try and get ideas from them, what they were doing in their community to what we could, mirror into our community. Even though it is a city of Westfield and we're a much smaller town. But that is something, eventually if they picked up or we could start doing again. But thank you for bringing that to the attention.
What do you think of the idea of getting something going just for the little special?
And we could definitely talk about that.
How do we proceed?
So right now, this is our very first meeting with a new chair. This is a new board. We only had 5 members before. We actually had a really hard time even having people join our commission. We actually had no public show up to, or probably until 2 years ago. Nobody ever came to our meetings. So the fact that we have 9 people now and we've just put a new chair and new board members on, I think it would be just a little bit of time. So like Craig said earlier, we're going to do a little bit of cleaning up house for the moment, and then we'll probably try and get something in the works.
Okay.
But you can join on Zoom anytime we have a meeting. Or you can come, then come to the meetings in person, then come in person. Yes.
Small special businesses like yours are things we would love to have in town.
Well, thank you.
And so I see our discussions going in the direction of what we do.
Great.
Well,
She's doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get, she just said something, I'd like to just piggyback on it if I might.
Absolutely.
I think that, those of us that have been on for a while, had a conversation amongst ourselves, and, we felt that it was just probably time to get, I don't want to say new blood because we're not going anywhere. And yet we felt it was just the right time to get some other ideas in there and so forth, instead of, I know Inga's been coming for a couple of years now, to the meetings and had a lot of good ideas, and I think it's time to try to get some of these things implemented, but we still want to be the continuity and the stability, and we need to be a resource to fall back on sometimes, maybe a voice of reason, maybe it's not reason, I don't know. But I think that's, I think we want to offer ourselves up available to you guys at this point, in that capacity. I mean, it's, we're not planning on going anywhere, but we just felt it was time maybe to to freshen things up a little bit, but, that's me speaking, and so we want to be an encouragement and, we're, the grounds level, we're all in this together. But we wanted you to know our hearts in this whole thing and, so having said that, and I hope, and I trust that Mike would also be a good resource for some of the things that he has brought, because I mean, even when Amber's talking about some of these things, I even forget about some of the stuff that we've done, but some was very foolish and some was very pragmatic and made a lot of sense. So we made about every mistake in the book.
Right,
So,
you live and learn,
I would say for my part, I was so happy that they expanded the board so we could have new and continuation of longtime people in it, because I think there's nothing but an upside for all of us to work together.
Yeah, whenever you can capture historical data from the people who have been sitting here, that's a plus. I do agree with what Craig said in regards to contacting Mike McMahon and being able to thank him for his years of service, number one, but also let him know that any time he wants to come to any of our meetings, he's more than welcome to participate. Because he does have a lot of knowledge and it'd be great to tap into that, knowing that we're moving forward. So.
Can I add on to that? I just thought of something. He actually was our liaison for economic development for the master plan committee.
Right.
So we need a new one. I was one.
No, they're not, they had all just decided to only one more meeting of the master plan advisory committee. So they're leaving it as it is.
Okay.
And not replacing it. It's gonna be dissolved November 1st.
Okay.
So it's status quo.
Oh, the advisory committee is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yes, sir.
I actually have a process question that
Okay.
maybe some of the members of the commission that have been serving for the past couple of years can answer. So if a business approaches the town or the commission, like Carolyn, and asks for help or guidance, what's the process? So, it can kind of fall in two categories. What I hear her asking for is, some assistance perhaps in promoting her business. But what about entities that are interested in the town or express an interest in the town in terms of possibly locating or relocating? With the business assistance, is there anybody to help with like coaching? Because when she started talking, I had a lot of questions. I didn't think this was the appropriate forum to do that in, but is there somebody that, would meet with a business owner and just talk with them and sort of help coach them through, what the town has to offer or how the town can help? I'm just curious how things really go when a business does approach either the administration of the town or comes directly.
So we were working on our website, and so what it was going to have on that was some criteria for businesses in order, what they should do and the steps that they should take.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we did not have a lot of power or regulations or information in regards to it. So when a new business comes in, they can just come in to the town and let's say they're renting a place and we don't find out.
Okay.
So if they have a PO box, we don't have access to that. We don't know. So if there's a new business, let's say they want to build something and they need a special permit, they would go to the planning board. And that's how we would hear it. Or if they have other questions, in regards to other things, they would go to the select board.
I hear you ask something different though. I mean, and I think on a daily basis, we do promote. I talk to different people that are interested in business, and I think that we just internally take it upon ourselves to intuitively know what the town is about.
Right, but I was thinking more in the logistics of it. I'm sorry.
It's a good point that you bring up, Mark, because when I first started coming to the EDC meetings, the second meeting, I asked, well, really, what is it that we do? And it wasn't really defined because you would think that any new business that wanted to come into our town would go through the Economic Development Commission. And then we would work in conjunction with the planning board
Right.
and the powers to be, but that's not been happening here in Southwick. I did some surveys for some of the local communities and talked to their EDC and found out that in a lot of cases, they're the point of reference. They're part of that process initially. So this is where we now are going to have an opportunity to potentially cross-pollinate EDC into other commissions or boards within the town to be able to demonstrate the value of what we all collectively can do for the community. So I wish we could say, yes, this is the first stop, but it's not. But that's something that we can work on.
So it brings up a couple of thoughts. There's probably a trigger somewhere in town. You mentioned, if somebody files like with the planning commission, that would be a trigger. If somebody just calls the town and says, I want to come into town, what do you have available? That's a trigger. Certainly with people coming forward, but maybe we look at, some type of process. Cause I would think that, if a town owns, if a business owns property in town, then they're going to end up on the tax rolls. That could be a trigger. If they rent, I don't know if there's any business registration here, and I'm still learning some of the Massachusetts law relative to like business registration, even DBA registration, things like that. But that could be another possible trigger to identify, because one of the questions I thought perhaps somebody from town administration could answer this. Like, so what happens in town hall when you hear about a business that comes in? Does this group get, notified?
No.
When triggers like that occur, there should be a sort of a, information flow to this commission so we can help, so we can, take action. And then vice versa, when somebody comes directly to us, knowing how we can, that's a trigger for us that we can then, pass along to the appropriate folks, whether it's planning, whether it's, so.
I'm even thinking about the aspect of who we are as a town and so forth, because there's been businesses that I talk to and I say, it's probably not wise that you go down this path. So I think a lot of things could be solved at this level as opposed to getting out of hand.
So could we, let me just ask you this. So, could we call on businesses? Could we go?
Like welcome them. We see a new business.
Oh, we do.
coming.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Not just,
Yeah.
not
And
so
then
much just
offer
welcome,
assistance, but
offer
assistance.
assistance.
Is there like a brochure? Is there something that?
Someone wants to put it, they want to expand their business. They gotta go before, I don't know, all the committees and all of that. We could help them with that process. We could, I don't want to say help them with the process. How could I say? Guide them. Could we guide them? Could we guide them? Because that's really what has to happen. And I love what you said about.
So there's no coordinator, paid or unpaid. I saw reference to it maybe as a concept in the plan, but towns that I've worked with in the past, that's sort of the portal, if you will, to get into the process, and then they help, support that business and
So
kind of
our
marshal
budget this year is, we got $1,500 for a website, and then they gave us another $1,500 for our yearly budget. Okay. Last year we had $800.
Is that much?
I think the year before it was $400 or $500. So we have tried for trying to like get some different stuff, but between joining the Westfield Chamber of Commerce, right, which is a strength and an asset, I feel like, as well as, doing our signs and things like that for different things. It slowly depleted and there wasn't a whole lot.
Can I?
No, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody here attended the grants meeting online. So I did as well, and I found a lot of useful information there. Just even as far as like where to go to look for grants. So maybe that's something that we
Yeah.
explore. The other thing is, I do websites, so I don't know who does our website, but we obviously wouldn't have to pay anybody to do it if I did it. So, but that's just something.
We used Southwoods right in town this year. So we had them for the year. I think we paid them for the year. Yeah,
Nothing
we
has
haven't.
come to fruition with that, so I've
Well,
already.
regarding the website, half the links are broken or outdated. I think it'd be better to take it down than to have it out there as the current state.
Definitely has to.
It is,
We agree.
it's more of a negative than a positive, right?
We agree. We agree.
There's, Diane, you had a
I
question.
mean, we have to put a link.
I just wanted to throw a couple of things out there. Generally, the town planner, John Goddard, is a wealth of information.
Yes.
He does a quick town planner report before the planning board meeting. I would suggest that one of you, the chair, vice chair, of the board, get in touch with him, ask him if he has to give the report to his board before you can probably publish it all to you. He could just copy you on that afterwards if you're not at the meeting. I would suggest somebody even get the meeting to that meeting. In addition, any new business has to apply for a business license, and there is a copy of that in the town clerk's office. Again, I would probably get in touch with Carl Steinhardt and share it to him to have him authorize Michelle to provide you all a copy of all new business licenses. I was letting someone know about those new business licenses. The proper way to do it would be get that authorization. Many of them are small home businesses, which is a bit of a challenge for you all. But if you're creative, you'll think of ways to welcome them and publish them and do whatever you can.
Regarding,
There should be something on your page that is what I call the concierge. So that if you're going to do this, go here, if you're looking at this, go here.
Right.
And lastly, it's a big document, but y'all kind of should get familiar with our bylaws. There's a lot of chapters, but you can condense those down to nuts and bolts, like for signage, which is important to the business community. Parking is important to the business community, occupancy. Some of those, think about your own businesses or the businesses you want into. You kind of focus on those and get knowledge on those. So if somebody does contact you, you can give them a quick answer and then guide them to that.
If you, I do business in the town of Suffield also, and you go in there and see the economics of development, he gives you business back. Anything I can help you with. Okay, gotta be honest with you. I have the committees come into a lot of my places of business, and I don't want to talk to them because they ain't doing nothing. Nobody. I would love for this committee to make a point and show the towns around us what we could do. We gotta intervene, I think, with a lot of the businesses that are hurt or need help, or I'm trying to put an addition on it. I'm planning and zoning, I've been here 47 times, and do we have the power to do, we have no power, I know that, but there's gotta be a way to.
I would like to see us being able to influence.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's
But we have to build on our credibility first.
Right, build, yeah.
And show and demonstrate that we are in harmony and that we have a plan for the next 12 months. So this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, no. It's not gonna be an overnight thing.
But the thought process is spot on. The
Yeah.
thought process,
And-
Mark, is
And
spot on.
I want to say also, you have, in our town, with talking about the budget, a lot of other towns, they do I believe Granby has a $38,000 a year budget for their economic development. Other towns have paid employees on their economic development. Well, so we're talking about the grants and stuff. So we're just going off on different things. We've been,
But can't we raise money
If
as a
we can
committee?
do an analysis that shows that an investment will pay back in added taxes, added tax revenue, we could justify our budget.
That's using the name of our commission. economic development, being able to show the analysis to demonstrate the value of why we want to have that integration. Jason Perone, you had a question, comment?
I just wanted to answer Mr. Paul. When I first got on the select board, I asked those exact questions, and the questions you guys are talking about right now. And I think, Diane and I can't talk about things, but what I really like about this, we have the same mindset. I want an economic development coordinator in this town, is what I asked, why don't we have one? And, we don't think we need one. Yes, we do. Or you need someone to go to from the planning board, or, that's what I mean, you guys are, I'm loving everything I'm hearing right off the bat. That's, when I was asked Mr. Steinhardt, well, how do we shop the town out? He goes, oh, well, you can do it. I reached out to a couple of businesses already, and it's difficult when you're trying to do different things, everything that we as a select board do and coordinate all of that. And but John Goddard, right on point. He's the first guy to bring it, and I might even propose adding to his salary and make him a BBC guy as well. I would love to see that. The Greg guy, you said it point on, we're talking about a very slim budget next year. So, but these are things, everybody knows about the cannabis thing. We just talked about that. We need to bring in, and that's everybody here. I know you all want that. Because as I said last night, or actually yesterday, we had a meeting with the rural affairs from the state. And like I said to her, my goal is to bring in any way, shape, or form that fits the town, revenue that takes the pressure off of our businesses and our owners and helps benefit the town. So, but to answer those questions, I mean, that's what I was told when I first got out. You don't have, you don't have it. Like Inga said, we need to focus on figuring out where we can put that, tie that into a position that already exists.
If we support as a team, the businesses in town, I'm sure they would support us.
Well, that's, definitely a sound point. And one of the initiatives that I'd like to bring to the commission as to one of our objectives is to do an outreach to our businesses and invite them to a forum where we can just sit around and talk about what their needs are and how can we help them. Until then, we're going to be just,
Could we make cold calls? Could we walk right?
I do, yeah, absolutely. As long as you're going in
As a business owner. Like I said.
So are you going in as a representative, as a town commissioner on EDC, or are you going in as a business owner? Because when we're sitting at this table or when we're going out representing ourselves, we have to be very careful about what we say and how we say certain things.
That. What I'm telling you is when economical development people come to me and my businesses, I stop them right there.
No, I've gone into many businesses when they first show up and they first opened up. I've gone and welcomed them, thank them, let them know that we exist and, tell them that we try and.
It's not going to happen overnight, but if we make an impact on the businesses in town, which I know we could, I know we could. There's a businessman sitting over there too. There's a lot of people here that have traits that are,
But this is where we're, the next meeting, I want to have y'all come back in with some brainstorming ideas. If you could pick 2 things that you want to leverage your background with, that could bring value, let's bring it and put it on a whiteboard and actually start looking at what we each want to see happen. And then see how we can integrate those into a couple of strong initiatives for the rest of this year. And then we have our work plate already established for first Q of 24 going into also the second Q with some really key objectives. But until then, we can, you just got an eye awakening, Mark got an eye awakening. There is nothing really established. We need to start doing that.
It's just,
that's gonna
even
have
if
to
we
start.
had a
Starting
function
today.
for businesses in town, they bring their tents in or whatever, they put the displays out, you know what I mean?
Oh, there's all types of crazy things that we can do at minimal cost too.
So if we could back up for a second, because I do like the idea of an open forum. The commission I was on before used a survey, rather than open forum. I would suggest we think about a survey first and then an open forum, and I'll tell you why. Because if we do an open forum, I think we'll get two things. What are you gonna do for me as a question like we got tonight, and we're sitting here kind of debating what can we do? So I think we have to sort that out first. And the second would be complaints. Like, I have this problem, I have that problem, and I don't think we want to get in that position with businesses right now until we have things sorted out. The point was made about the Mass Director of Urban Affairs, Ann Goby. She's been charged with reaching out to the rural communities. Governor Healy has to put together an economic development plan that's really going to set some goals, long-term goals, and some milestones, some measurable, actionable milestones. And so I think perhaps maybe as follow-up, and if we can, sort of suggest back to the town that perhaps, since we are a border town, I've heard Granby, I've heard Suffield. Well, it's a different situation in Connecticut where they actually fund the towns to have economic development coordinators. There's a lot of support from the state. There's grant programs that they offer for facade improvement and all kinds of other things. I don't think we're getting any of those tools out here. And maybe that's something that we put forth as, a question to Ann and to the governor. What can you do for Southwick? We are one of your border towns here, and we're competing against Suffield and Granby for businesses. Wouldn't you rather have them here? We've got some, great things to attract them, but we need some help. So that might be, in terms of another sort of action item, following up on the discussion about meeting with Ann. That might be a good thing for us to do. It might help jumpstart some of the things.
It's definitely a new day, but I have to say, over the years, we've reached out, with the facade grants and stuff, like nobody had any interest, so, I mean, there's been a multitude of things, but again, it's a new day, we're a new team, a new commission, so that's great. I just know that it's been so limited on the amount of.
So why can't we raise our own funds? Why can't we raise our funds? Is that allowed? Yeah, for commit, have certain events that, for the committee, have whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I don't know the answer to that in regards to, can we actually promote and then get funds in to add to our budget? I don't know that answer.
We're creating, no, I see legally, but if you're creating, if you're here for the businesses and you're creating fundraisers for the businesses, you can have a fundraiser and everybody pops up in tent and said, it's a donation, it's a this, it's a that, whatever. That's how you create some money. And anyways, and I'll bet you, once this committee gets together and starts moving forward, you're gonna see a lot of businesses that are gonna be supporting it. I'll guarantee you that.
I'm also hoping once we establish the credibility within this campus, that when we ask for additional funds for our budget, we will get.
Correct.
But it's gonna be conservative to start.
No,
with,
I
'cause it's been
get
that
that.
way.
I get that. But the thing is, if you have an existing problem that's been happening in town, what's a business?
Mhm.
And we correct that problem. They've had the problem for 3 years.
Mhm.
We correct that problem.
It'd be great to have bragging rights.
Okay?
Definitely would. Mhm.
That's what I wanna see.
Oh, I do too.
I know when a business is open in a town, I know when it's open in town.
Ann Goby,
Because I watch businesses, that's
the Mass
what I do.
Director of Rural Affairs.
Diane, you've got a comment?
Yep, as far as sources or either guidance or funding sources you might be able to tap into, we got certainly the Westfield Chamber of Commerce, as you know, local.
Yeah.
I also have Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and as an entire economic development commission, and I forget who the lead is on that, but I can find it for you. And then as far as fundraising and supporting the businesses, I do have a master plan, momentum that is going to be coming. It's not time for it, very shortly, that you can probably build on. As far as fundraising, I think we need to kind of get some goals first.
Yeah.
Decide what it is you want to raise funds for. You would then have to probably go ask to establish a gift account for your commission, in your budget, in order to put those funds in and have a plan. Justify why you have it and what you would do with it, how you would pour that back out.
So back to the agenda. We're gonna keep an eye on our time so we stay on point. I want to discuss, I know that we've come up with initially, or the previous commission had come up with a mission statement. I wasn't part of the commission, so I do not have that mission statement. Do you have that, Craig?
That I think Amber, you pretty much wrote it, didn't you? Amber?
And that was, a first attempt just to get something to start tracking.
Right.
It wasn't intended to be a cure-all, so
Right.
it needs work.
So my thought is that I'd like to.
I think there was, I'm sorry, excuse me. I think there was something changed. I think we changed a word in it. So let me just look for the revised, but I think that was the original. And then Jack, I think you had made a suggestion on a revision in there. And then I think we did vote on it, but we can change it up.
So
Let me just see if I have that.
what I'd like to get this evening would be a copy of what that mission statement was. And then I will share it with everyone, but you've got to remember, once I send an email to you, I don't need a reply back, and I will actually have that as a disclaimer on the email. It's just for information sharing, not dialogue. And I'd like everyone to look at the mission that was created by the previous commission. But then I'd like for you to come back into our next meeting and actually have thoughts of what you feel the mission statement should be. Yes, Fred.
I have a proposed statement here, very brief, that I can suggest as an example.
Okay.
And what I've suggested is, here's the statement. For the EDC mission is to propose and assist in carrying out initiatives that produce ongoing measurable improvements in the long-term economic health of Southwick, helping us reach the goals in our master plan.
Can you share that with me and I'll distribute that to.
So, yeah,
But the key issues, the two action items are propose ideas and assist in carrying them out. And the idea that we're not just going for growth, we're going for long-term economic health, and we're looking for measurable improvements. So we have to come up with metrics to judge our success. And
So-
that's got to be consistent with the master plan.
so Inga, I'll have to find the other one, the revised one, but this is the one that I think it's closest to what we had talked about, was the mission of the Economic Development Commission is to maintain, promote, foster, and service economic growth with a balance of residential, agricultural, commercial, cultural, and industrial within the community, to facilitate growth and revitalization of our existing businesses while attracting new investments that will complement the character of our community. The EDC will work towards a diversified economic base that offers employment opportunity and a quality of life that can be enjoyed by all who live, work, or visit our community.
Okay, that's exactly what I have.
I just handed it to you.
Yep, so that's the same one. Yes, Diane.
I think there was some word in there. Remember, there was something, Jack, that you had.
Yeah, I thought I had a.
Are we frozen or?
No, not somebody that remembers.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
They want us to.
They're muted. Do I have to unmute them?
I think if you just tell her, Sage, can you, unmute yourself?
Hello, Stage 91 Granville Road. How's everyone? Hey, I just wanted to bring up a point because I know you guys want to start your footprint off strong. We at Agricultural Commission actually had the same kind of similarities with you because we had to win over the farmers as you had to win over businesses. And what we found was very successful. I mean, very. We had what we're going to do annually is a farmers forum. I think you can do the same with the businesses and have a business forum. Basically, you invite all the businesses in town and have kind of a list of questions you'd like to ask them that maybe this could help for future businesses that come into town. They all have experiences coming into town, so they're going to have a lot of suggestions, I'm sure, but they'll also add whatever you don't think of. You'll get a big list, and then you can actually start to figure out if there's anything that you can improve the process to help the next, businesses that come into town based off the list and feedback you get from all of our current businesses. I mean, it's a great way to establish yourself right from the get-go because they know that you're listening. And then if you turn around with their notes and even do this yearly like we're going to do, you're showing them that you're listening, you're actually trying to help, and you're actually trying to, you're trying to develop our community. So, I mean, I think that might be a good way to even begin if you do want to, start with just getting your footprint in the ground. That's just my 2 cents on the matter.
Yes, I definitely appreciate your comments, Sage, especially your participation this evening. We are definitely going to look at doing a business forum. There's going to be a process to actually make that happen. And I hadn't divulged the whole process. Mark sort of took a little bit of the thunder there, which is great. I come from a survey engagement company. We do so many surveys to understand what our members want, and then you can build off of that next in-person meeting or webinars based on that data. It's all data driven. So we're definitely going to tap into how you folks actually facilitated that. But thank you for the thought there, Sage.
So on this, it was. I think on line, down on line 3 where it says to facilitate growth, I think we changed it to the EDC will facilitate growth and revitalization of our existing businesses. And that was.
It sounds like you have everything in there, but it almost sounds like mission and vision combined.
So
there's a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff in there, but a lot of stuff.
So what we were doing is we were taking from other towns and towns that were similar to ours and trying to kind of see what their mission statements were. But then again, there was vision there was different things. So it was kind of trying to make sure everything was kind of implemented without leaving anybody or any persons out of it, being homeowners as well, being, residents, being employees as well as businesses.
So that's where I feel it would be great to do is to share the one that Greg came up with, and have us come back to the next meeting prepared to talk about a mission statement. And I honestly believe that the mission statement doesn't need to be all encompassing. It can be, let's do it in steps. Let's do a mission statement for how we are right now, which we're just learning to crawl. We're at infancy stage here, with some foundation, obviously. But let's think about what we would want to do with that mission statement for the first 6 months. Let's do it in little chunks.
This is all brand new, okay? But I don't want to sound like an ass here. So I mean, you're having one meeting for 1 hour in 1 month.
We can change that.
Could we? That was my question.
Yes, of course we
In the
can.
beginning, could we not have 2 multiple meetings and just storm it?
I would like to propose, that's part of my agenda this evening, is to talk about what we would see this as a footprint. Because when I was visiting the meetings for the past 2 years, it never seemed like it was in perpetual motion. So, but now we have an opportunity with 9 members that are passionate to want to be here. We can design.
Yeah, that would, I mean, everybody here tonight
Right, so I,
Everybody's on the same board here.
right, so the first step would be, definitely, Greg, share with me what you've got there, so I can put it in an email and share it with everyone, so we can think about it before our next meeting, which hopefully is gonna be sooner than later.
Then it's just.
I just want to make a general statement about mission statements. They should be pithy, brief, memorable.
Yeah.
To the point, something you can
Tagline.
keep in your head.
Right.
The nice thing is we now have a master plan, so we don't need to define all the goals. We just say our goals are consistent with the master plan of the town. That's defined. But what's our part in reaching it? That's what we need to have a
Right,
mission for.
right.
So think about
Can I
that.
ask
as
a
we
question on that,
discuss
Craig?
it.
Was that part of, before, was that part of it, but the master plan was never actually implemented into the town?
Right.
So I think we should, right, so I think we should just, that my only concern is if it doesn't go through, because we had a master plan in the town. We had one. It did not get implemented into the town. It was not voted upon, so it wasn't actually to fruition. So it was up on the website. I ended up finding it when, the business that shall be unnamed, and I had actually brought it up to the select board in one of the meetings, what about the master plan? Like, don't you think this is antiquated at this point? So here we are, there's master plan. But I don't know if our mission statement should say master plan because it's not implemented as of right now. We could,
How soon will it be?
Right, well, let's just start with,
Second. I think
Okay,
it's
that's
going-
soon enough.
No, it's going to the planning board, it's being presented to the planning.
right.
So it'll be 2024.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with you, 100%.
Right, this is not something short-term, this is a long-term mission that we're on.
the we're
But you don't have to
representing,
name
correct.
master plan.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's gotta be go through
Right,
first,
so,
then.
so let's start with coming up with what our focus is. And I will share what I have here from the previous commission, Craig, even what you have, and I'll share that as well. And if you can get that to me within 24 hours, I'd like to share it with everyone by tomorrow evening.
How about?
So how about I share it with everyone by tomorrow morning?
There it is.
Okay, or even later tonight, be prepared.
But you don't want to reply.
No, and I will make a
Okay.
point when I share it that, this is just for read only. But it gives you then the mission, then I'm taxing you all and myself as well to come up with what we think the tagline should be, what the catchy little statement might be. But we want to focus on just the next 6 months. Let's do it in little chunks. Let's see what we can accomplish within that period of time and then expand on it as we are expanding ourselves as
So it's
well.
really a living document.
It's a living document. Very well said, Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be flashy with flamboyant words, it must be right to the point. So,
On the
Yes,
heels of what Frank said, I'm just thinking that, we don't want to set ourselves up for failure as far as our scheduled meetings, so I'm wondering if we could not intermittently interject a workshop or something like that, as opposed to saying let's meet every other week. That might be a bit cumbersome, and I don't, we all have so much needs to be done, but I think in order to eat this elephant, like I said before, we kind of have to divide and take small bites, and here's a committee, so I think that certainly those things could be done within the context of before the next meeting, but
right, and that's, I can see over the next 3 months, us probably meeting more than just once a month. Just to be able to understand what our focus is going to be and actually execute. I know last year, I myself put together a shop small, shop local promotion in town. I did it within 10 days of the meeting. That was the day, Saturday after Thanksgiving. And we had 14 businesses participate. I had 632 entries just for that day alone with no advertising. So I would like to put that on our agenda as well for our next meeting to talk about, actually doing that again this year and expanding on it since we've got a group of people opposed to just a volunteer from the community. So that's another agenda item that I'd like for us to talk about. So knowing that we're already at 7:15, what I would like to do is to ask the commission what your thoughts are about the next meeting. I would like to see us get together within 2 weeks and see about reserving this room as well and do it from 6 to 7:30 so that we can actually have a little bit of meat in that meeting. And that meeting will be to discuss what our short-term goal is, our mission and our vision. And I'd also like to put on that agenda, the shop small, shop local promotion.
What date are you thinking?
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today.
That brings us to the 4th.
Fourth.
October,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah, fourth.
And a question that I would have is, do we have to do it on a Wednesday? Can we do it on a Tuesday? So that it,
I'm fine with the Tuesday. I know I can't do the 4th. I have a commitment. But
You have to make sure you have available room for other meetings. Yeah, that go on Tuesdays.
And then can I make a suggestion as well? So the agenda meetings, those were always mailed to us a few days prior. So if that's something that, because they have to go in anyway, I think you can use their stamps and everything, right? And then just mail them out to us prior. Then we don't need
I could probably just do that electronically.
or you could do that electronically, email it to us. Yeah. I'm not sure what the criteria is on that, but yeah, right.
Yeah, just send it electronically.
So
let's,
So you're gonna check on Tuesdays?
I'll check on Tuesday, October 3rd.
That's not.
yeah, we're not gonna be able to.
Wednesday
all
evenings is best for me each week. Or Monday, I'll go to select board.
Yeah, Monday I'm at the select board meetings.
Friday's okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays are. Right up.
Okay, so how does Thursday, the 5th work for everyone?
Thursday, the 5th.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are tied up for the next 2 months for
I
me.
haven't even done that on that Thursday. I mean, I'm wide open on the 4th. I can always change my event if that's the day.
So there's gonna, if we're, can I just say, if we're all gonna start meeting more regularly than just our once a month, not everybody's gonna be able to at all the times fit in their schedules. And just like life happens, even when it's once a month. People are sick, people take care of elderly parents, people have, other things in their lives. So we're not all gonna be able to fit. So I think if it's a majority, and then we could, let the other people know, maybe that's
Yeah,
where the
whatever,
clerk
yeah.
comes in or something, or somebody comes in to send the email out. This is just an FYI, you're read only, you don't need to respond. Here's, what was discussed. If you have any input, and the one person who maybe didn't make the meeting could at that point, I don't know how that works, but could maybe input to the chair, or have a quick conversation, because then they wouldn't be a quorum. It would only be the two.
So I got a question, here, going dumb or whatever. What is all this, don't respond, you can't talk outside?
So these are
you can't
open
talk-
meetings, so they're open meeting laws. There's 32 pages.
Yeah, no, I'm not a well reader.
So you can, it's online. So actually, I think Michelle should have sent you something in regards to the open meeting laws. You should have everybody should have an email at this point to go through, and you have to do a survey and like a test in regards to the open meeting laws. If you haven't, let Inga know and she can let her know.
Yeah, there was a string of emails that went out. There's 2 different sessions. One is an hour-long session, the other one's a 10-minute session that you have to go through, and then Michelle will send a certificate to you.
And I think one is ethics.
Is that the ethics?
One is
Because I've got
ethics.
both
We've all done
I got.
I didn't
ethics.
get the email.
Got the-
Open meeting.
Right.
Everybody
Okay.
should check their spam folder.
Yeah, I checked mine.
Those generally are going to spam.
Yeah, especially because they switched over to a .gov recently, so I know a lot of people were getting everything into their spam.
Yeah.
But
So let's go back to confirming a date then for our next meeting, October 4th. And for those who can't participate that evening, if you can send me what your thoughts are, and I will present them on your behalf.
Okay, and what are
At
the,
that-
what are the pinpoints again for that?
Pinpoints are going to be.
The shop
mission,
small. Yeah, mission.
the shop small, shop local. And I want 2 goals that you would like to see the EDC be able to accomplish for influence.
Based on your skills, what you bring to the
Yeah, what you
table,
can bring to the table.
so whatever you're good at.
Right.
Right.
And yours might be relating to the businesses.
Yeah, I know I can't be there. I'm gonna be out of town, so.
So, yeah,
Okay, we'll
flip it over to me.
Yeah, email it to her and she'll.
So if we're, like, I won't be available on, I think it's like the scheduled meeting for October, I don't know what date that is, like the 16th or something like that. I'm in Atlanta, but can I come on Zoom?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, and I think that's for anybody too, like
Yeah.
if,
Okay.
I mean, many times
Yeah, I'm gonna be at that whole day.
Yeah,
and
there's a few commissions, like Sage for instance, he travels a lot, but he's always at the AdCom meetings, but his vote does count. Even though he's not physically there, he's still there. So any other
And what
comments?
time is it at? 6?
Yeah.
6 to 7:30 on the board. That's right.
Yeah, I'm on the open meeting issue. I don't want that to limit us from sharing websites, articles, information. As I say, as you noted, no reply, no discussion, no deliberation. But I have lots of things I'd like to share. I think anybody, if they have something to share with the group, just send out an email and they can put the note, no reply. Please no reply, for your information only. So
You can do that?
let's do that a lot.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying before, is when he was saying the open meeting, with the open meeting laws, if we send out an email, so there's 9 of us. 5 would make a quorum, a voting quorum, so 5 people would be considered at this point. That if we were all discussing somewhere, let's say we all, we're sitting at, well, Mrs. Murphy's isn't inside anymore, but let's say hypothetically, we're all sitting around the countertop and all of a sudden we start talking about the last meeting or the next meeting or some of the new businesses or some other things, or, hey, what about this? Or did you hear about, and it has to do with the EDC. As town commissioners, we wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to sit there and talk about it. Because it's a voting body.
No, I
So,
get it.
okay,
but
I know. it
On
just
the other
feels
hand, it's like, we'd be able to get done
But,
faster.
okay, so here's the thing, then let's put it in a different perspective, and I totally get it, and I understand what you're saying.
I'm just trying to
But let's,
understand.
a different perspective would be, let's say the 5 of us all thought one way and the 4 of you guys thought another way, and we're like, hey, let's, talk about this, or, there was 4 of us, and I think we should pass this. Well, there's only 4 of us. Let's grab Pam. Hey, Pam, what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea? And now we've like behind each other's backs and behind, you know what I mean? And we've now decided,
Now,
and
does
we're
the
kind of,
planning board in town have that same?
everybody does. Everybody does. Yep.
Try being a 3-person.
Yeah, if there are 3 people, they can't, yeah, they can't, you just can't talk about anything. I mean, we can see each other, and be like, hey.
No,
how's
it's
it going?
just,
It makes
my
it,
end, I've never been on a board before, I don't know, but everybody's here for a
it makes
reason.
it
and everybody
difficult,
was
but it makes
brilliant
it, but it
tonight.
makes it ethical. You know what I mean? It keeps it kind of, keeps it a little
I
more
get it.
ethical.
But we're here to help out, it's not like we're pulling a paycheck, so.
Yeah. So,
You know what I'm saying?
Email, count, conversation and possible delivery.
yeah.
So, and I get what you're saying. I've never been on a board either. And my favorite tagline is don't delay, do it today. So believe me, I hear your pain.
Hence where,
It's like,
when
That's,
there's
I
4 of us.
but this is where we have to.
yeah, I get it, I didn't know, I
Right.
did not know that. I
And
just-
for many years, there was 4 of us until Jack came last year, but there was 4 of us.
Well,
So 2 of us couldn't speak. Like, we could not even speak on the phone. We couldn't even talk,
So there's
text,
9 of
anything.
us, could 3 of us talk? No.
Yeah, that's
You
why I
can,
said you
right,
could do
right,
little-
right. So, yeah,
Because you're focused on.
if we're doing a focus group, but you also have to, yeah.
Say, this to stay at 3.
your work, but you can overlap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So does anybody, yes, Greg?
One last thing, just a request for information on our website. Can we get Google Analytics access through the admin to look at the data, the website?
I mean, I don't know if you can get it on your current website. I have no
I mean,
idea.
who can get it to
We
us?
don't have anything. We have nothing. And so the town doesn't provide our website. What we have, what we have,
Right, whoever developed it should be able to give us
it's
that
very
admin access.
antiquated. It's so old. So that's why we were in the process of having a new website, updated
And we
website.
shouldn't have to pay for
There,
it.
it just,
Well,
we
but it would be-
we had no money.
That should exist.
We had no money. We had nothing.
That should
Yeah.
exist and would
Yeah.
tell us how many visitors, where they came from geographically, what
$400 was.
things, how long they spent on it. That Google tracks for every website, so we should be able to get it. As
Google
research.
Analytics, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
What
I
I'm
can
going to
probably
do
get it.
before the next meeting is I will contact
Notes.
the town to find out what we have left for a budget. What is our budget this year? What is, do we have any open POs? So I will find out that information beforehand. I have reached out to Martin at Southwoods, who gave us, who gave the old commission a demonstration and shared cost for us to have our own website. And I know you've offered some resources as well, so I will have that information for the next meeting. And then we can decide what we want to do with the website, and so that would be another
right.
point
But
on
just
our
having a
agenda.
password or somebody authorizing us to access that. Look at all the data.
Right, and so we don't have a site at all. There's nothing.
So there is something, if you go on, economic development, it's at, well, if you go on to the town website and it's economic development, it's a link to another website.
Yep.
Which was our website, because the town, they don't pay for the website, they don't update the website. It was something that was done prior. And
Mike paid for that
Mike
himself.
paid, Mike
Mike
McMahon paid for that
himself,
himself,
yes.
and he tried to maintain it himself. Michael paid for a lot of things himself.
Yes.
He was
So the
very,
link
very
is still
committed.
Live, because I just went, I can
Yeah,
get to the
it
site,
is.
you can still get to it through the town.
See
Yeah,
if I can
But-
find it, and I can
But
probably
half
get
the
some
links
analytics.
in the. Don't you have to be authorized by the?
Well, I have access
Oh.
through a company that my company pays for, and I can put in any website and I can get
Okay,
some,
good.
I can get some analytics.
Right, so see if you can find something, because
Okay.
I'd love to know if anybody's going to it.
well, I went on it a ton the other day, so probably, it's all me.
Their website. I got it through the town website, so I go to the Economic Development Commission, there will be a link there to the
We'll all be going on.
website.
Okay.
You can just
But
write
as I
stuff.
say, when you go to it, there's a lot of links, but half of them don't work.
Right, and some of them are antiquated and aren't necessary anymore either.
Right,
I'll come back in 2 weeks with a plan for that website.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if there's no other comments, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the
Could I-
motion.
Could I just have you guys, I'm Cindy, I'm the secretary for right now.
Oh,
There was.
Hey, you want these
Hi.
notes?
Can
Where
I
are
just
you?
have all of you, new members and old members, just write down neatly, like, so I can read it. Sometimes the cursive is a little rough, but can I just have everybody's full name, your email, and your phone number so I can make a contact sheet to save on my drive?
That's all we had them.
We had,
I have a copy of one right here in front of me, Cindy.
Okay, an updated one? Because I just don't have everybody's information.
Yes, I have one from August of 22nd of 23. So what I'll do is I'll email that to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, and let me just see. Can I have your email address, Cindy?
Yeah, it's C Barton, BARTON at southwickma.gov.
Okay, I'll get that to you first thing tomorrow morning.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cindy.
And Cindy, will you check this computer later or tomorrow at some point? Make sure we turned everything on properly?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
I'm recording on my end, so it'll save to my profile, and then Jim will be able to
Phenomenal.
access it through that.
Phenomenal, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that,
apparently.
because these things are, I'm like,
Paper.
Cindy, have you been taking notes? This is Serena.
Yeah, I got it. And then I also will do the minutes off the recording as well.
All right, so you don't need my notes.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Feedback, I was second.
Good job, Sabrina.
Thank you. I know. I appreciate it.
All right, thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, wait a minute, so we gotta, yeah, all right. So
Okay,
I second the motion.
okay.
Oh,
so
but adjourning?
Yes.
meeting is adjourned.
Do I have to do a third? Yeah.
All in favor of adjourning this meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay,
All right, so I don't need to give you these notes.
Was that right?
correct.